They went out to dance and never came back. No storm, no crash, no struggle. Just three girls, laughing in the neon glow of nightclub lights, swallowed by the night. One moment, alive and glowing. The next, gone. Their names were Rhea Lorne, Imani Price, and Camila Estrada. All 21. All students. All close. They weren't childhood friends. They found each other later. First day of sophomore year at East Haven University, in the middle of a late registration line. Rhea had dropped her student ID. Camila picked it up. Imani made a joke about the photo. The rest, as they say, stuck. In the 2 years that followed, they became inseparable, sharing everything from shoes to secrets to sleepovers that stretched into therapy sessions. Their group chat was titled The Holy Thirsty. Inside were 3,491 unread memes, 8 playlists, 2 fight screenshots, and a digital pact they'd all signed. If one of us ever goes missing, we don't wait. We search. No one imagined they'd have to keep that promise. On Saturday, March 4th, 2023, just before 9 p.m., the three girls met at Rhea's shared apartment on Garfield and 6th. It was the first real weekend of spring. The streets had finally thawed after months of dirty snow and quiet nights. People were out again. The air smelled like beer and cherry vape. Sidewalks buzzed with girls in heels, boys with too much cologne, and drivers leaning out of windows yelling the same thing over and over. "Where y'all headed tonight?" For the girls, there was only one answer. Club Lure. They'd been planning it for weeks. Camila's late birthday, Imani's near breakup, Rhea's midterm win. They wanted music, movement, a night that would feel like a music video. They got ready like it mattered, because it did. There's footage of them leaving Rhea's building at 9:47 p.m., captured by a ring camera on a neighbor's second-floor window. Dow. All three girls walk into frame under the buzz of a flickering streetlight. Rhea wore her red rhinestone crop top, the same one she posted in her stories with the caption, "Let's cause problems." Camila had on black mesh with silver hoops. Imani wore silver heels and a white cropped hoodie. Her comfort fit, she called it. They looked like every group of girls on a Saturday night. Happy, loud, ready for something big. They arrived at Club Lure just before 10:40 p.m. The bouncer let them in. No issues. There's front desk CCTV of them entering. The timestamp reads 10:42:18. They're laughing. Rhea turns and flashes a peace sign at the lens. Camila adjusts her boot. Imani has her phone out, already snapping pics. The music inside thumps so loud the camera shakes slightly with each bass hit. That's the last confirmed sighting of all three of them together. Inside, things get murky. One bartender remembers seeing them around 11:30, said they tipped well. Another says he served them once, maybe twice. Vodka cranberries and a round of tequila shots. A group of guys near the bar said they thought they saw Camila dancing with someone in a black beanie, but couldn't recall if the other two girls were nearby. At 12:07 a.m., a club photographer caught a blurry shot of Rhea near the hallway mirror, her eyes half closed, her mouth open like she was mid-laugh. She's holding her phone in one hand and Imani's jacket in the other. At 12:44 a.m., Camila posted a video on her Instagram story. It's 6 seconds long, no sound, just a shaky pan across the dance floor lights. One caption, "Still glowing." That was the last trace of any of them online. By 1:30 a.m., all digital activity stopped. Their phones either died or were turned off. They sent no texts, no calls, no Uber requests. Nothing was posted, and none of them were seen exiting the club. The front exit came. Raw, fully functional, shows dozens of patrons leaving between 1:45 and 3 o'clock a.m. None of them were Rhea, Camila, or Imani. The back alley cam, positioned behind the staff exit and emergency door, had a blind spot. The security system was under maintenance. No footage between 1:30 and 2:20 a.m. Staff didn't notice anything suspicious. No screams, no fights, no bathroom doors kicked in, just the usual chaos. Drunk couples, lost jackets, makeup smudges, someone throwing up near the DJ booth. The night ended, and the girls didn't come home. By 7 a.m. Sunday, Ria's roommate noticed her bed untouched and phone charger still plugged in. At 9:12 a.m., Camilla's sister tried calling again, straight to voicemail. By 10:45 a.m., Imani's mom drove to her dorm. At 12:02 p.m., all three were officially reported missing. Police responded quickly. They started by canvassing the club, checking video logs, asking for witness statements. They got nothing concrete. The girls were there, then they weren't. No one saw them leave, and no one ever saw them again. There were glimpses, but nothing stayed still. Cameras caught pieces, faces in reflections, flickers of movement in strobe lights, but no one could stitch the timeline together. The girls were there, until they weren't. Detectives called it the fog zone, that stretch of time between 11:30 p.m. and 1:45 a.m., where video clips overlapped, voices blurred, and nothing could be pinned down with certainty. But they tried. They built the last known timeline using CCTV, club photographer shots, and phone metadata. 10:42 p.m. Entry confirmed. All three girls arrive at Club Lure. Seen laughing at the entrance. Ria flashes peace sign. Camilla checks her phone. Imani holds her hoodie sleeve up to her nose. Her perfume always gave her sneezes. When? 13 p.m. Bar camera, Zone A. The girls are spotted near the first bar. Camilla orders. Ria is speaking to a guy with a triangle tattoo on his collarbone. He hasn't been identified. Imani sips from a straw and keeps looking around. Some witnesses later say she seemed nervous. But that could mean anything. 41 p.m. Dance floor, Zone C. Partial footage. Flashes of red rhinestones. Likely Ria. Camilla is dancing with her hands up, hair swinging. Imani is near the back wall looking down at her phone. For 13 seconds, they're all in the same frame. That's the last confirmed moment of all three girls together. 2:07 a.m. Club photographer shot. Single photo. Ria alone in the mirror hallway, smiling at someone off camera. Her red crop top is clearly visible. No bruises, no smudges. She looks okay. Not scared, not drunk. That image will be used in every missing poster. Now 22 a.m. Imani's phone activity. Her phone pings a Snapchat text. "Where'd y'all go?" Sent to Ria and Camilla. Neither reply. This suggests she's separated by this point. 44 a.m. Camilla's Instagram story, the now infamous 6-second clip, strobe lights, red-blue haze, glass raised in front of camera. No one else clearly visible. Location tagged, Club Lure. Caption, still glowing. It's the last digital footprint from any of the three. 1:03 a.m. DJ booth cam, Zone D. A shadow passes behind the booth. A female figure, long dark hair, walks toward the employee corridor. Low frame rate, no facial recognition, possibly Camilla, but can't be confirmed. Chapter 19 a.m. Bathroom hallway audio only. Someone is heard sobbing, faintly, then silence. 1:37 a.m. Side stairwell sensor trips, no footage. Just a light sensor activating for 14 seconds. That stairwell leads to the staff storage room, which was locked when police first arrived. By 2:00 a.m. the club had started thinning out. Dozens of people exited. Videos from outside the venue show streams of partygoers heading into the night, shouting, laughing, stumbling. Friends carrying heels, guys looking for rides. But no one remembers seeing Ria, Camilla, or Imani. Detective Maya Hart led the early questioning. She described her first visit to Club Lure as drenched in perfume, noise, and denial. Staff weren't helpful. They weren't hostile either. Just tired, just vague. They interviewed. DJ Levi said he didn't notice anything weird. Claimed he played 3 of Camilla's song requests between midnight and 1:00. Bouncer Devante remembered Ria joking about his flashlight at entry, but couldn't recall seeing her leave. Bartender Kai said Camilla seemed to be waiting on someone. She kept looking toward the hallway like she was expecting somebody. No one mentioned a fight. No one recalled a man following them. No one remembered anyone screaming. That silence, that utter absence of alarm, made it worse. Detectives brought in tech specialists to digitally map the club's layout and camera angles. A 3D walkthrough was built. Users could navigate the space using CCTV timestamps, photos, and movement paths. It helped, but didn't solve anything. The main issue? Dead zones. Certain corners of the club had no cameras. Some were offline for maintenance. The hallway between the women's restroom and the storage wing, camera had been turned off manually at 12:18 a.m. That's when things shifted. The club's storage room, small, windowless, usually used for extra bar towels and cleaning supplies, was locked that night. It remained locked for 2 days. No one accessed it. No one checked inside. The key was kept with a manager named Reed Halston, who was off duty that weekend. The backup key? Taped inside the front office drawer. When Detective Hart asked about it, the floor manager just said, "Why would anyone check in there? It's never used unless something breaks." She wrote that down, then circled it. By Tuesday morning, the posters had already gone up. Faces on every light pole. Social media flooded with reposts. Hashtag find Ria Camila. Imani, the most shared photo, was taken just hours before their disappearance. Ria in her red top, Imani grinning wide, Camila with her tongue out and peace sign raised. They looked unstoppable. But now, they were ghosts. The police had fragments. The families had faith. And the nightclub? Still open, still spinning music. For now, because in less than 24 hours someone was going to open a door, and everything was going to change. By Tuesday morning, the city knew. It started with whispers, a post here, a message there. Then it hit the news. 3 university students missing after club night. And suddenly, everyone had an opinion. The girls' families didn't wait. Ria's mother, Nadia, called every hospital within a 50-mile radius. Camilla's older brother, Thomas, started driving street to street, showing their pictures at gas stations, convenience stores, Uber lots. Imani's aunt, who worked for a local community newspaper, wrote the first online article that gained traction. 3 girls entered Club Lure on Saturday night. No one has seen them since. Someone knows something. The post hit 20,000 shares in 12 hours. By noon on March 7th, there were printed flyers, a shared Google Drive with their recent photos, a Discord server dedicated to tips, and a TikTok clip of the last known video of Camila, still glowing. Now re-edited with glitch effects, slowed down, paired with haunting music. People were hooked, but no one had answers. Detectives set up a task force. Led, Detective Maya Hart, 16 years on the force, known for her work in missing persons. Calm, direct, eyes like they've seen too much, but still keep looking. Her first press conference was short. "We are actively investigating the disappearance of Ria Lorne, Camila Estrada, and Imani Price. They were last seen at Club Lure. We are asking for patience, cooperation, and privacy for the families during this time." But patience was hard to ask for when nothing made sense. Early speculation fell into familiar patterns. They ran away, they met someone, they overdosed, and were covered up. Human trafficking. But every theory had holes. They didn't take clothes, cards, or cash. No ride shares, no signal pings, no texts. And the club? Still operating. People protested, briefly. By Wednesday night, a small crowd gathered outside Club Lure holding signs that read, "Where are they? No one vanishes into lights. This club's got secrets." A manager came out and offered water. Nobody took it. Detective Hart's team began gathering everything. Phone records, CCTV from surrounding businesses, traffic cameras, interviews with over 80 people who were in or around the club that night. Still, no break. The club provided their security hard drives, but several files were corrupted, particularly around the north hallway and storage corridor between 12:15 and 2 o'clock a.m. No audio. Low frames, blank spaces. A tech analyst later called it intentional negligence. Nothing provable, just convenient gaps. The girls' families started growing restless. All 3 girls had left their personal belongings untouched. Ria's apartment had her medication still laid out, one missing dose for Saturday morning. That was it. Imani's phone last pinged at 1:06 a.m. inside Club Lure. After that, dark. Camilla's digital calendar had a class marked for Monday. Econ midterm. Do not miss. She never skipped class. And then there were the group messages. Their last shared text came 1 hour before they vanished. Ria wrote, "Bathroom break? Don't disappear, LOL." Camilla replied with a laughing emoji. Imani sent a black heart. That was it. On March 8th, 4 days after the girls vanished, Club Lure's owner, Tristan Doyle, released a statement on Instagram. "We are devastated to hear that 3 of our guests are missing. We are working closely with authorities and providing full cooperation. Lure is a safe space, and we are committed to helping in any way possible." Comments were disabled. It didn't help, especially because Tristan Doyle had been cited twice in the past for security code violations, once for blocked exits, once for overcapacity. He wasn't arrested, just noted. But for the girls' families, that wasn't enough. On Friday, March 10th, 6 days after the girls vanished, students at East Haven University organized a candlelight vigil. Hundreds showed up. Some brought flowers. Others brought signs. All 3 girls' photos were printed large and framed in white. The wind was sharp that night. Candles kept going out. People kept lighting them again. Someone played Youth by Daughter on a speaker. A girl collapsed into her friend's arms and sobbed. Ria's mom spoke. "We're not asking for much, just a clue, a direction, something. These girls didn't just get up and walk into the air." Camilla's brother stayed quiet, staring at the ground. Imani's father paced the edge of the crowd, eyes scanning each face, like maybe she might still walk up, like maybe this was all just wrong. That same night, while cleaning crews were prepping Club Lure for a Saturday reopening, a janitor named Marco Valdez noticed something strange. He was restocking mop heads from a supply bin when he saw the storage room door slightly open. It wasn't supposed to be open. It hadn't been accessed in days. The door was stiff, like it hadn't been touched in a while, but when he pulled it open, he noticed something at the back near the shelf. A piece of red fabric, crumpled, dull, out of place. He stepped closer, reached down, picked it up. A red rhinestone crop top, the same one Ria wore in her last photo. One shoulder strap torn, a faint smear of foundation inside the collar, glitter clinging to the bottom hem. It was clean but slightly damp, like it had been rinsed, not washed. He dropped it, called security. They called police. Detective Hart was on scene within the hour. The storage room was sealed. A team brought in luminol. They found traces on the floor, on the shelf, and on the wall. Nothing visible to the eye, but it was enough to change everything. The storage room changed everything. Up until that point, police still held back judgment. There was always that 5% chance that the girls had run or gotten lost or were just waiting to be found. But the red crop top destroyed that. It wasn't just a piece of fabric. It was evidence. It was a presence. Something that screamed, she was here. Someone tried to hide that. The room had no windows, no ventilation, just a shelf of old mop buckets, 2 boxes of unopened liquor, and now, police tape. Detective Maya Hart stood in the doorway for a long time before stepping in. She later said, "It felt like the air had been holding its breath." The shirt was collected, bagged, and rushed to the lab. Initial findings. The tearing on the strap was not natural wear. Threads were stretched in opposite directions. Trace amounts of glitter, foundation, and a single partial bloodstain at the base of the collar. The glitter matched the kind used at Lure's makeup station, offered to patrons for free. The partial blood sample was small, too degraded to match to anyone yet, but the presence was enough. Someone had handled her violently, or worse. Investigators traced access logs. There was no electronic keycard system, only manual keys kept in a locked drawer behind the main office desk. But here's what didn't make sense. The manager on duty, Kieran Watts, claimed he hadn't opened the room in over a week. The backup key, according to staff, was missing, but could have been misplaced. Nobody knew who last opened that door. No fingerprints were found on the doorknob, only partial smudges. Detective Hart wrote in her notes, "Somebody cleaned it, not professionally, just carefully enough." There were only 3 ways out of Club Lure: main entrance, under constant surveillance. Back alley door, meant for deliveries, had a CCTV camera. Emergency exit near the restrooms, alarmed but hadn't been triggered. All 3 were checked. The front entrance. Camera had no record of the girls leaving. The back alley footage had a 30-minute blackout, same time frame as the storage room access. The emergency exit, the alarm system had been disabled on Saturday night around 11:50 p.m. It was logged in the maintenance panel. Only someone with a code could do that. There was no record of who entered the code. Detectives brought every staff member back for re-interview. Bartenders, cleaners, security, the coat check girl, the lighting tech. Most gave the same answers. "I didn't see them leave. They were dancing earlier. I thought they'd already gone. I didn't notice anything weird." But when Hart asked about the alarm code on the emergency door, only 2 people were authorized to disable it: manager Kieran and floor tech Elias Rowe. Kieran insisted he never touched it. Elias. He didn't show up to work Monday or Tuesday. He didn't respond to texts. By Thursday, his number was disconnected. Police visited his apartment. Gone. Empty. Cleared out. Neighbors said they saw him carrying boxes out late Sunday night, just hours after the girls were reported missing. Now he was officially a person of interest. The floor of the storage room lit up like constellations. Traces of blood, invisible to the eye, were scattered across the back corner, not pooled, not splattered, but wiped, smudged. There was an imprint of something heavy, possibly a boot, in dried residue. Near the back shelf, a faint fingerprint was lifted, partial, pressed into the dust-covered bottle of bleach. Analysts believed it had been used after the incident, not before. The bleach bottle cap had skin cells. Someone tried to clean up, but left the shirt behind. Hart brought in a structural engineer to evaluate the building. The club had been renovated twice, first in 2015, then again in 2018. The blueprints showed a forgotten hallway, a former fire corridor that ran from the staff area to an unused basement entry once meant for loading bands and gear. It had been sealed shut, but never fully decommissioned. A crawl space remained, big enough to drag something through. A warrant was filed, the floor was drilled. Inside the space, nothing. But the air was thick, old, like something had passed through not long ago. The corridor reeked of bleach and mildew. All 3 girls were close, but they weren't naive. Rhea was outspoken, confident, the one who always had pepper spray in her purse. Camila was the planner. She booked the Uber, tracked their drinks, posted location tags for safety. Imani was quiet, observant, always watching the room. They weren't reckless. They didn't separate easily, and none of them had enemies. Not publicly, not privately. So how could all 3 vanish inside a club full of people in less than an hour? Detective Hart said, "The only way out was the one no one thought to check." And yet, no witnesses, no direct footage, no confirmed timeline of escape or removal, no motive, no suspect in custody, just a shirt, a missing floor tech, a dead alarm system, and 3 girls whose names were now symbols for the unexplained. Flyers still papered downtown. People still wore pins with stars behind the right ear, just like the girls' matching tattoos. The hashtag hit 1 million. But the family still had no answers. Not yet. Because the real break was still waiting in the shadows. For 2 days, the storage room stayed sealed. No public statement, no updates to the families, no arrests. Just a thin yellow strip of police tape across a hollow metal door, and behind it, a shirt that once clung to life. The nightclub remained closed for cleaning, but the silence around it grew loud. Social media boiled with speculation. What else was in that room? Why had the door been locked? Why did a staff member vanish the same week? The club's owner released nothing new. Detectives refused to comment. It was the kind of quiet that feels staged, like everyone's waiting for someone to break. And then someone did. His name was Marco Valdez, 43, worked cleaning shifts at Lure for 4 years, had keys to closets, mop sinks, and restrooms, not much else. He wasn't supposed to speak to press, but late one night, a journalist caught him outside a gas station off 5th and Coral. Marco lit a cigarette with shaky fingers. He didn't want to be recorded, but he talked. It wasn't just the shirt, man. It was how clean that room was. Like someone tried too hard. Like someone knew people were going to come looking. When asked if he'd seen anything else out of place that night, he paused. I remember a weird smell. Bleach, yeah, but also perfume. Sweet. Strong. The kind girls wear when they want to be noticed, but it didn't belong in there. After Elias Rowe, the missing floor tech, failed to appear for questioning, police dug deeper into his file. What they found complicated things. Elias had no criminal record, but there were patterns. Complaints from female staff about inappropriate comments, reports of unauthorized access to staff-only rooms during late hours. Security noted him once entering the women's restroom hallway, claiming a fuse box issue. No work order existed. Still, no one had ever filed formal charges. The club kept things internal. Quiet. Hart requested phone records. His phone had last pinged near Harrison Bridge 2 miles from the club at 3:12 a.m. the night of the disappearance. Then it shut off. CCTV from the area showed a vehicle passing. A black Toyota Camry, too blurry to read the plate. It matched Elias's car. On March 13th, 9 days after the girls vanished, an anonymous email hit the task force inbox. Subject line, "He left something behind." Inside was a single attachment, a screenshot of an unlisted cloud folder. Inside it, 12 audio files. No sender, no IP trail, likely VPN masked. Hart played the first one. A woman's voice, trembling, whispering, heard saying, "Are you sure no one can hear us back here?" Then static. The next clip, "We shouldn't be in here. We shouldn't." A pause. Then a sharp noise, like a door closing. A click. Silence. The third file. Music. Thumping. Club bass. Muffled. And then a second voice, low, male, says, "It's soundproof. No one's gonna hear a thing." Club Lure's renovation in 2018 included a VIP suite, a soundproof recording lounge once used for celebrity DJ live streams and private parties. It was disconnected 2 years later due to lack of use, but the physical room remained, no security camera inside, only one entry point. The door? Marked equipment only. Detectives searched it again. This time, they brought scent dogs. The dogs alerted, once, faintly, near the room's rear wall. Behind it was a small crawl space used for wiring, connected directly to the former fire corridor discovered earlier. There were signs of dust disturbance, a smudge of glitter on the baseboard, and a long dark hair stuck in the carpet edge. DNA later confirmed it belonged to Camila Estrada. Using video timelines, digital footprints, and interview data, the task force assembled a new theory. Around 12:15 a.m., Rhea walks alone toward the bathroom hallway. Camila is last seen dancing near Zone D around 12:44 a.m. Imani sends her last message at 12:22 a.m., then disappears from all cameras. Sometime between 12:30 and 1:15, it is believed all 3 girls were separated, directed, or lured toward staff access areas. One by one. Police believe they were either tricked into going, under false pretenses like lost friends, VIP invites, or fake staff claims, or escorted by someone they partially trusted. Whoever did it knew the floor plan. They knew the blind spots, the camera angles, and exactly how much time they had. On March 14th, a woman named Ariana Scott, 27, contacted police. She said she had dated Elias for 6 months and left him after he started getting woo. Tinta timosito sabos, eared with locks. According to Ariana, Elias once showed her a floor plan of Club Lure and bragged about knowing how to bypass the alarm system. He called it his disappearing trick. She dismissed it at the time. Just ego, maybe. But now, she was terrified. She also said something else. He hated girls who laughed at him, always said they deserved to be taught a lesson. Detective Hart wrote, "This isn't about passion. It's about control, precision, pride, and possibly revenge." Elias Rowe was now officially the prime suspect, but he was gone. His last known location, a bus ticket purchased under a false name, headed to Nevada. But the name on the ticket wasn't caught until 2 days too late. Still, something had changed in the investigation. No more theory, no more maybe. Now, there was a target, a face, and, soon, a trail. But for the girls' families, it wasn't enough. Not yet. Because even with a suspect, they still didn't know where the girls were. And they were about to learn something no one wanted to hear. It sat in an evidence bag, folded twice. To most, it looked like any other going-out top, red, cropped, rhinestones around the collar. But to Nadia Lorne, it was unmistakable. "That's Ria's," she whispered, staring at the photo detectives showed her. "That's the one she begged me to hand-wash because the rhinestones would fall off in the machine." She didn't cry at first. She just blinked and stopped breathing for a moment. Camila's brother punched a wall. Imani's father left the room. It wasn't just a shirt, it was proof. One of the girls had made it into that room, and she had tried to leave something behind. The lab report was thick, 32 pages. Every inch of the fabric had been analyzed. Here's what it found. 2 broken rhinestones, still embedded with dust, one cracked, likely from blunt pressure. Foundation, and shimmer smeared around the collar. A blood trace too faint to be seen, but reactive to luminol, absorbed into the seam near the right shoulder. Most chilling, a small piece of latex glove stuck to the inside hem. Torn, almost invisible. But the biggest clue came not from what was on the shirt, but what was underneath it. Under blacklight scanning, the lab found transfer prints, a partial boot heel impression near the stomach area, a smudge of handprint residue near the left side, too blurry to lift fully but clearly there, and something else. Handwriting. Invisible under normal light, but glowing under UV. 3 shaky letters, he too small to be initials, too odd to be random. A lab analyst theorized it could have been the start of a word, possibly written in some cosmetic, maybe highlighter or lip shimmer, the kind girls often carry in their clutch. It wasn't conclusive, but Detective Hart believed it was left on purpose. Theories varied. Maybe it had been removed in a struggle. Maybe it was planted as a warning, or worse, a taunt. Maybe Ria had left it there herself. That last one haunted everyone. If she had been aware, if she had tried to leave a clue, then there was a sliver of hope. She was conscious. She fought. She used the only thing she had. But the reality was colder. The shirt wasn't dropped. It was placed. Carefully, folded once, set down on the floor. No dust underneath it, which meant it had been moved after the room was cleaned. Whoever left it wanted it to be found. And that raised a horrifying possibility. Was Elias still watching? Detectives rechecked timestamp footage. Something strange emerged from the back hallway cameras. A figure, barely visible, seen around 4:19 a.m. on Sunday, just hours after police had left the club for the night. Male hoodie, gloves, carrying something small in hand, the figure entered from the staff corridor and disappeared toward the storage room. No footage of him exiting. The hallway cam blinked twice, likely a Cigna, jam or loop. By 4:23 a.m., the camera was back online. The storage room door, still closed, locked. Police had sealed it the next morning. But that 4-minute gap haunted everyone. Had Elias returned to leave the shirt? Or was someone else involved? 2 days after the shirt was recovered, the same anonymous cloud folder, the one containing audio clips, suddenly updated. This time, it had only one file, a video, 32 seconds long. It showed a dark hallway, illuminated only by red club lights. The camera panned shakily, as if hidden under clothing or held low. Footsteps echoed. Then a pause. Then a soft voice. "He says you'll be fine if you don't scream." Then static. Then silence. The footage cut out. Metadata showed it had been filmed from within Club Lure, roughly 1 hour before the girls vanished. It had been taken using a GoPro Hero 9, the kind DJs sometimes use to record sets. The file had no origin stamp, but it was real, and it had been sent intentionally. By now, police had a shirt, a blood trace, DNA hair from Camila, a crawl space smudge, a missing suspect, an insider's knowledge of the club, and now, a video clip that confirmed premeditation. Still, no bodies, no full timeline, no arrests, just darkness filling in where memory should have been. Detective Hart stood outside the storage room again that night. She looked down the hall, into the red light, into the quiet, and she wrote in her notes, "We're not just hunting someone, we're hunting a moment that's trying to disappear." That same week, Ria's mother, Nadia, and Camila's mother, Ana Estrada, appeared together on national television. The interviewer asked what they believed had happened. Ana replied first, "I believe they trusted the wrong person. I believe someone used that trust like a weapon." Nadia added, "I don't know if she's alive. I don't know if she's. He's gone. But I know she left that shirt to be found, and that means my daughter wasn't finished. She wanted us to keep going." The interviewer asked what they wanted to say to whoever was responsible. Nadia stared into the lens, unblinking. "I hope you hear this. I hope you know we're not stopping. And I hope you're afraid of what we're going to find next." She didn't blink the rest of the interview. The club was built to glow, not to be watched. It had cameras, yes, security protocols, entry logs. But it wasn't designed like a prison. It was designed for music and mischief, for drinks and forgetting, for girls in glitter and guys with secrets. And that's exactly where the answers had hidden, not in what the camera saw, but in what they missed. That's where everything changed. After the red crop top was recovered, police realized the internal footage from Club Lure could only take them so far, so they widened the net. Detectives requested surveillance from surrounding businesses, a pizza place 2 doors down, a dry cleaner across the street, a 24-hour parking garage nearby. Most of the footage was ordinary, patrons laughing, smoking, spilling out at 3 o'clock a.m. But on the garage footage, from camera 6B, something appeared. At 3:16 a.m., a figure emerged from the club's back alley, alone, hood up, gloves on, dragging something, just out of frame. Then, the figure stepped into a black Toyota Camry. The license plate was just barely visible. Police enhanced the footage. Confirmed, Elias Rowe. But what chilled everyone, he wasn't alone. The passenger seat door opened from the inside. Someone was already in the car, but their face was covered. Elias's personal laptop had been seized from a relative's apartment where he briefly stayed after fleeing. It was password protected, heavily encrypted. Police cyber analysts cracked it within 48 hours. Inside were dozens of files. Most were DJ samples, club schedules, and video loops. But buried inside a hidden folder labeled VIP Backpass, they found raw security footage, including clip. It's never submitted to police. One stood out. The clip was short, grainy, no audio, but terrifying. Timestamp, 1:21 a.m. The exact time the official hallway camera glitched. A side-angle feed, likely from a personal GoPro, showed the storage room door opening. Inside, a woman with long black hair, knees trembling, hands in front of her chest. Camila Estrada. Behind her, a man, likely Elias, holding something that looked like duct tape in his left hand. He reaches toward her. She flinches. Mouth opens. But there's no sound. Then the feed cuts. The original file name, Night 3, Key 1. Police believe this was only one of multiple recordings. Detective Hart pulled records on Elias's employment history. What she found was devastating. 3 prior clubs before Lure. each closed due to staff violations. In each case, female patrons had reported being followed, touched, or cornered in staff-only areas. None of the cases went to court. No arrests, no convictions, just quiet settlements and resignations. Elias moved club to club until he ended up at Lure. Hart scribbled one word in her case file: predator. But there was still one more question. Who was the second person in the car? His name was Kenton Briggs. Part-time security, usually handled side doors and cleanup patrols. He hadn't said much in the first round of interviews, but something changed after the footage surfaced. He asked to speak privately to Detective Hart, and he brought a flash drive. "I didn't want to believe it," he said, "but I saw him, Elias, that night, near the emergency panel, with Reed Halston, the floor manager, the one who claimed to have no idea where the backup key was, the one who said the storage room hadn't been used in weeks." Kenton paused. "They were talking about shutting off the noise. I thought it was about music, but now I'm not sure." The flash drive? It had audio, low quality, recorded from Kenton's phone. It captured two voices. One was clearly Elias. "If you keep it shut down until I'm gone, we're square. No one will find anything unless they know where to look." The second voice, deeper, older, replied, "I don't want to know what you're doing, just clean up after." Reed. Police moved fast. On March 17th, Reed Halston was arrested at his apartment. In his bedroom closet behind a panel of winter coats, detectives found the missing storage room key, a burner phone, a stained towel with traces of Camila's DNA, a printed map of the club floor plan, the one with crawl space routes marked in red ink. He didn't resist arrest, didn't say a word, just stared at the floor. When she first spoke, her voice cracked, not from fear, not from grief, from dehydration. She'd walked nearly 4 miles through back roads and dust trails before collapsing outside a shelter in Elko, Nevada. A staff member rushed her inside. She asked for water, then asked if her face was on the news. They brought her a phone. When she saw the missing poster, her own eyes staring back at her from a flyer she never knew existed, she broke down. Imani Price had survived. But barely. And what she remembered changed everything. For the first 3 days, she barely spoke. Detectives sat with her. Her aunt flew in. A trauma counselor helped her rebuild the timeline, memory by memory, moment by moment. She didn't remember how long they were in the club, but she remembered when it stopped feeling fun. It was loud, but not the good kind of loud. It was like the walls were buzzing, and Rhea wasn't with us anymore. She remembered Camilla stepping away, saying she needed to find the DJ. She remembered trying to follow her. She remembered someone grabbing her wrist. A man, big, hoodie pulled up, smelled like metal and cologne. He said, "Wrong hallway, sweetheart, come on. I thought he worked there." He didn't. Imani was taken through a side corridor. She remembered darkness, concrete, and a tight passage. She said her knees hit metal, that she tried to scream but something was shoved over her mouth, tape or cloth. She blacked out twice. When she came to, she was in what she described as a room that didn't echo. She knew what that meant. Soundproof, the VIP recording booth. No windows, one door, and a camera light blinking red. I saw Camilla for maybe 3 seconds. She was sitting, crying. Then they took her out. I never saw her again. She said she didn't know where Rhea was, or if she'd ever made it to that same room. But what she described next confirmed everything. Imani remembered being moved. Once. She was dragged through a hallway, blindfolded, barely conscious, and left in a room that smelled like bleach and sweat. The storage room. She said she heard a voice whisper, "Fold it. Leave it right there." Then footsteps. Then silence. Imani believed they made her dress again, but left the red shirt behind. Rhea's shirt. She wasn't sure why. Maybe a message. Maybe a mistake. She didn't know how long she was there. Eventually she was placed in a trunk, driven for hours, dumped at what she described as A house in the middle of dirt. They kept her in a basement. They fed her once a day. She was told to keep quiet, or next time it'd be worse. The man who guarded her wasn't Elias. It was someone else. Imani described him as older, pale, thin-build, burned scar on the right hand. She didn't know his name, didn't hear it, but she remembered his voice, flat, emotionless, like reading instructions. He said I was a mistake, that I wasn't supposed to be part of this. She wasn't sure what that meant. Maybe only 2 girls were targeted. Maybe she interfered. Maybe she survived when she wasn't supposed to. But she remembered something else. The man panicked after the news coverage intensified. He kept saying, "They weren't. It's supposed to find the shirt." That shirt, left behind in the storage room, was never part of the plan. It was a breach, and it saved Imani's life. Using Imani's description, combined with footage, phone records, and financial data, police tracked the second suspect, Philip Granger, 48, former club promoter, fired from 2 previous venues for stalking staff. He had no connection to Elias on paper, but they had crossed paths during the 2018 renovations of Club Lure. They'd kept in touch, privately, carefully. Philip was arrested outside a hardware store in a nearby town. In the trunk of his car, gloves, rope, unmarked keycards, an empty bottle of prescription sedatives, he confessed after 9 hours of questioning. Not to everything, but enough. He admitted to helping Elias clean up. He admitted to transporting Imani. He denied knowing what happened to the others. But by then, it didn't matter. Camilla's body was found 6 days later, buried behind a rural tool shed on Philip's uncle's abandoned property. A ring on her finger helped confirm her identity. She had not survived the first night. Ria's body was never recovered, but traces of her DNA were later found in the crawl space. Detectives believe she fought back, hard, and may have been removed through the emergency exit during the 30-minute blackout Elias orchestrated. There were rumors she was buried somewhere off the highway, but to this day, she hasn't come home. Still, her mother believes she left the shirt. Ria always protected her friends, Nadia said. Even in the end, I think she was trying to scream. Club Lure was permanently shut down. Elias Rowe was captured in Reno, living under a false name. He and Philip Granger were both convicted of murder, kidnapping, and conspiracy. Imani testified, bravely, calmly, in full. Her words led to life sentences for both men. She now lives under a protection program, but every year she returns to the candlelight vigil held in front of the old club's ruins. She brings 3 candles, lights 2, and leaves 1 unlit. For Ria, whose light, she says, still burns in the dark. That same evening, Detective Hart received a call from a shelter in Elko, Nevada. A woman, bruised, dehydrated, terrified, had walked in off the highway asking for help. She was 21, no ID, but when they asked her name, she whispered, "Imani. I'm Imani Price." It wasn't a mistake. Fingerprints matched. She was one of the 3 girls, and she was alive.